So Emily Maitlis from the newsagents interviewed Rupert Lowe and they spoke about grooming gangs and she completely debunked him. So let's get straight into the video.
You work for me. I don't work for
Okay.
you.
I want to talk about grooming gangs. You've launched your own inquiry. Alexis J, who, as you know, spent 7 years on a child abuse probe, says she's very unhappy with the politicisation of child sexual exploitation done, in her words, a very uninformed way. She's talking about you.
Well, she's welcome to her own opinion.
But this isn't an opinion. See, this is where we get quickly into the realms of fascism. This is an opinion. This is a 7-year study from an expert. They don't like experts because fascists are anti-intellectual, they're anti-empiricist, and it's all feelings. That's it. It's fear. Fear-based policy. Scaremonger about grooming gangs from Pakistan. Don't look at the evidence. Just ignore the evidence that it's a white majority. That's how they get in. That's just repeat the message. Repeat it until it comes true. And this is why, again, we have to call it out for what it is. Because he doesn't care about the truth. He, comes across calm in this. But he is lying.
As is everybody. I believe in a Britain where everybody should be able to express exactly what they want to.
Why is it funny?
without.
Well, he doesn't because he's constantly saying, oh, the left are going too far. They're doing this. No, you only care about freedom of speech. Again, it's not a freedom of speech issue. It's a facts over feelings issue. And that's how we've got to frame it. And we've got to hold him to the fire because this is important. Obviously, he's lying. He knows that. He knows what he's doing because he's a grifter. But we need to keep on this because this talking point is dangerous because it's evocative. It's very scary, the idea like, oh, brown people are coming over and raping our children. It's a fascist talking point. That's all they go on about. It's constant. But they don't talk about the reality of you're more likely to be raped by your own father, a relative, a partner of, say, a woman's broken up with a partner and she's met a new guy. That's statistically what is going to happen. They don't talk about that. And also they don't talk about funding rape centres, the judiciary. They don't actually talk about how we tackle this. And also rape culture. They don't never... When have you heard of Reform Guy or Farage or James McMurdoch or Lee Anderson talk about, Richard Tice talk about rape culture? They never talk about it. They only talk about it in the context of brown people. And when you do that and ignore the white majority, you are a racist. There's no doubt about it.
Without any,
exploitation.
I don't have any problem. I said she's welcome to her own opinion.
But why is it funny?
But it's not funny. I mean, my driver for the rape gang inquiry is that having looked into it, and it's something which I think a lot of people in this country probably were blissfully unaware of.
No, I don't think they were.
So,
Andrew Norfolk,
that's
who's
your
the
opinion.
Times reporter,
That's your opinion. But I have picked up the mantle, and as you know, I don't call them grooming gangs. I call it Pakistani rape gangs because 95% of these people are Pakistanis and very often from a particular part of Pakistan.
That's absolutely not
true. So it is true. It is true, Emily. But anyway, let's
see. Just racist lies and essentialism as well. Like somehow there's a certain place in Pakistan that just produces this. It's so irrational, and it's really hard to argue against it because he just says it so calmly and matter of factly, and again, repetition of just repeat a lie, repeat, and people believe this stuff because it taps into that primal fear of your children. It's so powerful. And that's the appeal of fascism. The enemy that needs to be eradicated. They need to go. It's very powerful stuff. And it's a dangerous game because Rupert Lowe is more mask off than Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage is like, he'll obfuscate. But Rupert Lowe, he's deep in this ideology.
23. No, I'm going to tell you
let's
this.
park that.
224 white grooming gang suspects were found compared to 22 Pakistani suspects. Why do you only talk about the Pakistani grooming gangs? That's police statistics from the Times.
I've now got on my
police statistics from the Times.
If you look at my rape gang inquiry, which you asked me about.
No, I didn't. I asked you why you're insisting on politicising child exploitation.
20,000 people have donated about £620,000 now. That shows you the depth of feeling and concern amongst British people.
Doesn't it show you should be ashamed that you are making money off a re-exploitation
I'm not. I've given money.
I've
given money. I'm not making money. I've given money to it. I will make absolutely less than zero. I've given a substantial sum to it, as have other people who care.
Why are you doing this? Why are you just trying to talk about Pakistani grooming gangs when there are 4 times, 8 times and 10 times as many white grooming gang suspects?
Do you not think, Emily?
He won't answer the question. That's the problem. And I'd be angry in this situation. Emily's right to be angry. But you kind of need to be calm and just be like, okay. I mean, good coming from me, I get very angry in these videos. But you just got to be calm. Okay, I'm going to ask again. You're not answering a question. Because he won't answer the question. Why are you focusing on Pakistani grooming when it's the right majority? Just repeat it. Because he won't answer the question. Because he can't. Because he knows he's lying.
There's an issue with Pakistani Muslims raping working class white underage girls. Do you not think there's an issue there?
I think there is.
See, he always races like working class white. We know there was Asians as well. See, this is where it's so dishonest because he is a racist, like racializing this. Like, we don't racialize it when white men do crime, any crime. Like, any crime, stabbing, murder. But somehow it's racialized now. And, again, all you can do is call it out. Because we have to match their lies. That's all you can do.
Telling me there's no issue.
Appalling issue with grooming.
Are you telling
when it hits any community and any age?
Are you telling
me? Ever hear you talk
telling me
about
there's no issue?
Pakistani
Are you telling me
perpetrators?
there's no issue?
I'm telling you.
No, she's not. See, he's just being done. She's not saying that. She's saying, why are you focused on white people? Why are you focused on Pakistani grooming gangs when the majority are white? That's it. Can you answer the question? And if you can't answer the question, why can't you answer the question? Because this is a serious question.
That you are focusing on Pakistani grooming gangs because probably you're racist and you don't believe that there are white perpetrators of the same crime. Can you deny that?
I am concentrating on it because it's a blot on our national history.
Isn't any grooming a blot on our history?
It has not been properly dealt with.
Isn't any grooming a blot on our history? Why don't you talk about anyone else?
And my grooming gang inquiry, I have a victim who's working with us. I have a number of people who've been direct.
See, just can't answer the question. Because if he actually did answer the question, he'd have to go, oh yeah, it is a white majority. Why are you focusing on the minority? And then he doesn't have a point. So he will just obfuscate. But you just got to push him on it. That's all you can do.
Involved. And it's underway. And if you're suggesting I'm going to make any money out of it, that is completely wrong.
Of course he is. He's not only is he making money off it, he's a MP now. He's exploiting it. He doesn't care about these girls. He doesn't care about the victim, the children. It's all political capitalism. Capital. That's it. And capitalism. That's it. He doesn't care about the victims. What? Again, is he going to fund this? Is he going to help? No. It's all about bashing brown people because he doesn't like them for reasons. Maybe he was bullied by a brown person. I don't know. I think there is inherently a personal thing. He just doesn't like them. But somehow, people believe that somehow this is the solution to all our problems in the UK. If it wasn't for brown people here, it'd be a land of milk and honey.
Money to it. And I intend, because I believe there should be a statutory inquiry, because that's far more powerful. The government should have a statutory inquiry. And I'm going to do everything I can to ensure I shame the government into having one.
You will know Andrew Norfolk, who's the Times reporter, who started the reporting on this in 2011.
Andrew Norfolk's done some good work.
He said the way this issue has been raised by people like Musk, like you, is exploiting these girls, making the victims all over again.
He has said some very good things, but yes. I am not satisfied that the British establishment has dealt with this for a number of reasons. And in my view, it's linked to county lines drugs. There's a whole raft of things that
have... no, like in his like, okay, why don't we just listen to the expert and look at the facts? Just his feelings. That's it. It's all he has, feelings, which is insane. And it's fascist. That's fascism, just feelings. Feelings over facts. That's all they care about. He's like, oh, okay, we need science here. Obviously, he's anti-science, but this is what we need. We need studies. We need data. Not feelings, Rupert. Sorry.
Have not been properly dealt with. A bit like the lawfare against me, we have
See, constant victim mentality. That's it. Like, the lawfare against me. They're so whiny, aren't they? They're so pathetic. They are the worst people. And it all comes from sexual insecurity. Like, that's it. And they project it out in society. They don't want to solve any problems. They don't want to make life better. They don't want to, decrease child rape. All they care is about playing the victim, being racist towards brown people, scapegoating brown people. That's all they have. Fascism.
Objective policing. And as you know, the British establishment, Emily, and you're obviously clearly one of them because you obviously believe this is okay.
Based on nothing. He's the one that's saying it's okay. He's saying basically the white majority okay. He's not condemned it. He says, yeah, I don't mind it. I just don't like it when brown people do it. That's essentially what he's saying. By not talking about the white majority who commit this crime, he's saying, yeah, well, they can do it, but can we just not have Pakistani grooming gangs, please?
Has propagated an attempt at a multicultural society, which has not worked. And what they're fearful...
No evidence. Again, feelings. He doesn't like brown people, even though the multicultural landscape in the UK is one of the most successful ever. The only reason why we have problems is because of racists like Rupert. The majority are fine with brown people. They see them as people. They're not really interested in someone's melanin levels like Rupert is. They see the human, not just a colour. But for him, it's a big problem. The guy needs to go to therapy. He needs to sort his life out because you can't always just blame your problems on other people. Like, that's the first thing you'll learn in therapy. Like, take responsibility for your own actions.
Of is admitting, firstly, that hasn't worked. They're equally, I think, fearful of the fact that the Muslim bloc vote, which in my view, I will ban, if we ever get near power, I will ban postal voting. Hang on, now I've got to finish this. You keep trying to flip over it, and I'm not going to let you...
No, she's trying to answer a question which you didn't answer. You didn't answer the question, Rupert, because you can't answer the question, because then we have to get into the realm of facts, where you're all about feelings.
Not going to do it.
No, I'm going to put some of your words back to you.
No, I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question because this is a huge issue. It happened largely in labour wards. I think the police are very often to blame because I think they haven't dealt with it properly. I think some of the social services are to blame. They haven't dealt with it properly. Emily, this goes to the root of what I call woke Britain.
Okay, let's...
It's meaningless. Just saying just nothing. Like, woke, it's woke. Just say nothing.
Okay, and I am perfectly entitled to have a crowdfunder, as an MP, to out something that I think needs outing.
Okay.
Now I'm not saying there aren't other things that need outing as well, but I think this is a particularly vile blot on Britain's history.
Yes.
You can throw as much liberal cant as you want at me, but I am not going to back down, and it's perfectly within my right. And if you can't see the fact that 20,000 people have put their trust in me, I feel incredibly humbled by that. They have contributed because they know there's an issue here.
The state...
No, they don't. They've been told and they've bought into the lies and propaganda. No, just, again, factually not true. Just factually not true. All feelings.
It's not dealt with.
The Liberal candidate is asking whether all grooming is bad in this country, all exploitation of young girls is bad, or just one particular type done
All
by
grooming,
one particular...
all grooming is bad.
Because I didn't hear you say
all grooming
that.
is bad.
Okay.
Emily.
Why not talk about all grooming then? Why just racialize it? I mean, he won't be able to answer that because, you know, you'd have to start to have a real discussion about this stuff. But why not focus on all?
And
So
all rape is bad.
you-
And
you-
all
Okay, so can we talk about that then? Can we talk about the massively low levels of prosecution of rape? Can we talk about rape culture? Can we talk about the Me Too movement, which he probably didn't support? Can we talk about how it has been normalized greatly in society and we don't talk about it enough? Like, a lot of men don't even know what rape is. Can we talk about that? No, of course we can't, because, you know, he just doesn't like brown people.
all treatment of
You've advocated the
underage
deportation
children
of
is
all
bad.
illegal immigrants, and you've said we need to stop
Hang on,
rapidly...
repeat that. What did I say?
You've advocated the deportation, I believe, of all
Right.
illegal
I'll tell you my
migrants.
position on this.
No, I want to just get this quote out. We need to start rapidly emptying the tub. Do you believe there are too many Muslims in this country? Is that where you stand?
I believe there are too many illegal migrants in
Do you
this
believe there are
country.
too many Muslims in
So
this country?
I have said, and I'm on record, and I'll say it to you clearly.
Right, we'll end there. So just lies. All you got to do is push back, keep repeating the question. Emily Maitlis did a good job there, but she should have just hammered on him. Why focus on the minority and not majority? Why exploit this for political gain where you don't care about this? Why don't you talk about broader rape culture, advocacy, funding these services? He doesn't care because he doesn't care. They never care. It's always about scapegoating brown people because they can't tackle the real issues of capitalism, neoliberalism, inequality, and that's what's causing the problems in society. But again, they don't want to solve these problems. So hit the like button, join my membership, and I'll see you in the next video.